Picture this, you have $1,000 in your bank account and you're trying to think, should I save it or should I invest it? Hopefully by the end of this video, I have answered that question and I've helped you to solve the magical question of if I should save it or if I should invest it. This question could help you make hundreds of thousands of dollars, and it could also help you to solve maybe your future financial problems, but it may not. And today we're going to be talking about some different steps on how to kind of progress towards what you could be doing.
This video is purely educational content. It should not be considered personal finance advice. I'm not a licensed financial advisor and I don't know your financial situation, risk tolerance, or even investment goals. Past performance doesn't guarantee future results, and always do your own research and consider consulting with a qualified financial professional before making any investment. All right, let's get on to the video.
All right, hey guys. My name is Steve and I run the Frugal Expat website where we try to help people save more and invest better. And in today's video, I'm going to be going over some different steps on if I had to start investing to begin with in 2026, this is what I would do. So right now I've got a pretty good sizable portfolio. I've been investing for years and I've learned tons and tons. But if I was beginning and had no idea what I was doing, I was either 18, maybe 49, or even 58, 60, these are probably some of the steps that I would start my investing journey for the brand new year. Now let's talk about the $1,000 choice. Save it or invest it. Now, if you were a classic person, you would probably think, I could put my $1,000 into a bank account and maybe a high yield savings bank account, not just regular bank account, like a high yield savings account to get some of the interest. So interest rates are coming down, going up. It just depends on when you watch this video. But let's say the interest rates are anywhere between 3 to 4% and you're getting about, $30 to $40 per year on this $1,000 being saved in the bank account. Well, it's better than, putting it in your drawer or underneath your mattress, making $0, right? At that point, inflation's eating up and you're losing maybe 3 to 4%. So, and with inflation, you're probably making 3 to 4% and it's probably just staying on par. So when we're talking about kind of either putting it in a bank account or investing it for the long term, we have to think about a couple of different things. First of all, what is investment? What is investing in stocks or bonds or all those good things? Well, investing in the market, first of all, is like you're buying a business. So let's take Apple, for instance. So Apple makes products. They make the phone that's in your hand, the computer that you may be looking at, maybe even the earphones or earpods or AirPods that are in your ear. This is Apple. They have stores, they have apps, they have software, they have products, and they're selling them. So if you buy a product, if you buy a brand new MacBook, then you are buying something from that store, and that's allowing them to make money. And then they take that money, they increase their stock price, they are able to maybe pay out a dividend to those stockholders. And so when you buy a share of Apple, you are now a part owner of that business. You want that business to survive. But here's the thing, not every company is Apple. Apple was once not always the best company, but it has done really well. But there have been companies like Kodak. There have been companies like BlackBerry. There have been other big companies that, if you shoved all your money into it, it crashed and burned and you lost all of it. Well, here's the thing that I like to do. I like to invest in something called an ETF or an exchange traded fund. It is a basket of a lot of different companies. And in this basket of different companies, you are able to kind of have a good broad market or a good view of what these companies are doing. So if you were to invest into an S&P 500 ETF like a VOO or an SPY or an SPYM, you are able to invest in the top 500 companies on the US market. So if you have like an Apple, you have a piece of it now. But if you could also have a piece of 500 different companies. But here's the good news is when a company does crash and burn, like a BlackBerry or a Kodak, that company gets removed and new companies get brought in. And so you're continuing to invest in the top 500 companies. And as the market goes up, your money will increase over time. Now, on average, the stock market has done about 10% average per year. Now, I say average because there are years that it goes up 20%. There are years that may go down 10, 15, 20%. And that's why I say average. And so this could be a good place for the long term to put your $1,000. Now we know when we put the $1,000 in a bank account, it's going to get that interest rate that's going to keep on par with inflation. But if we put it into the stock market, we know that in the future, it's going to continue to compound and grow over time. Now, there are a couple reasons why you may not want to invest right now. First of all is maybe you have high interest debt. Maybe you have a huge loan or even a credit card debt that could be 20-25%. Well, if we do the math and if we invest it into the S&P 500, that's doing 10%, but you have high interest rate that's 25%. Well, that math's not working out. You're still losing more money due to your debt than your investment. So it's better to pay off that high interest debt first than to invest your money. That's just a good way to kind of get on a good, stable financial move. Another reason you may not want to invest today is maybe you don't have an emergency fund. So typically to have about 3 to 6 months saved up just in case of emergency. Let's say you lose your job tomorrow, but you invested all your entire emergency fund and the stock market crashes. Well, man, you are out of luck and that is just not a good move. So the best thing to do is kind of save up to that 3 to 6 months in case you lose your job and you don't have income. You can withdraw some money from the emergency fund to keep your living until you find a better job or a new job or something to bring income into your family. So make sure to, first of all, get rid of all high interest debt, and secondly, build that emergency fund. Next is to start investing, and that could be starting up small. Now, not everybody is going to start investing that $1,000 because maybe you don't know anything. Maybe you're scared. Maybe there's a lot of fear in the market. Maybe the market is going down, down, down in red, and you're like, oh, is this the best place to put my $1,000? Those are all very good questions. But what you could do is you could start with $10 a week, maybe $100 a week, maybe build that momentum and get closer to that $1,000. Maybe you don't have as much money and maybe you can only do maybe $20 a week, $100 a month, and that could be a good place to start. But the cool thing is it will compound over time. That $1 compounded over time will be huge in the future. If we think about this and we invest in $1, a 10% return for the next 40 years, $1 every single month, that's going to come out to about $5,300. Now, it's going to be up and down, but around $5,300. Now, if we were to increase it to $10, that's $53,000. $100, that's $530,000. $1,000, well, that's $5.3 million. So here's the cool thing is it compounds over time. So basically your money is going to grow 10% more. As you continue to invest, it's continue to snowball over time. So that's the cool thing about investing. And the great thing is if you start early, the more you can put in today, the better it will be for the future. Hey guys, if you're looking for a place to start investing and you don't know where to go, well, I am starting some coaching, some financial coaching. I'm going to leave in my description and in my pinned comments. So if you want to set up a time with me, we can look at what's going on with your budget, what's going on with your money, and come up with a plan to help you to do better in your investment journey. I'm going to continue to follow up with you and help you guys on this journey. So let me know if you want to join. There's a link in the description, a link in my pinned comments, and you can also sign up via a QR code that I'm going to leave right up here. All right. And let's continue on with the video. So how do you actually start? First of all, you need to open up a brokerage account. Some of the best brokerage accounts out there are Vanguard, Fidelity, Schwab, and some people may like Robinhood, some people may like M1 Finance, some people may like other brokerage accounts. My favorites are Vanguard, Fidelity, and Schwab. Now with Fidelity does fractional shares on all ETFs and even stocks, and so it's a great place to kind of start this adventure. First of all, you're going to go in there and you're going to think about what are you going to invest in. Like I said, there's stocks and ETFs and bonds, but like I said, a good way to start off is an ETF. And if you want to invest in the S&P 500, some great S&P 500 ETFs are SPYM and VOO. Those are very low cost ETFs. VOO has an expense ratio of 0.03%, meaning it costs $3 for every $10,000 or 30 cents for every $1,000 invested. SPYM is 0.02%, so it's $2 for every $10,000 and 20 cents for every $1,000 invested. And you can buy fractional shares on Fidelity. Then you can also automate it as well, which makes it even better. You don't even have to think. It just allows you to continue to invest for the future. And if the market dips, that's okay, you're buying. If the market goes up, that's okay, you're buying. And you don't even have to look at the market. It just continues to take it out of your bank account into your investment account and continues to buy and buy and buy. Now for your brokerage account, there are probably two options you're going to go to when you're opening an account. First of all, it's a Roth IRA or a regular IRA. Secondly is a taxable account. Now when we look at a Roth IRA is invested with after-tax money, and regular IRA is before tax. Now, Roth IRAs are very popular because at the age of 59 and a half, you can take that money out tax-free because you invested the after-tax money into it. That's amazing news. And right now in 2026, the limit is $7,500 per year. So that is pretty cool. You can invest $7,500 into that, and at age 59 and a half, you can start taking it out tax-free. That's amazing. You can let that compounding machine go. And if you're looking for some great ETFs for that, I've got a video up here. So take a look at that one. Now, the other one is a taxable account. This taxable account is kind of like, it's a brokerage account, but all the capital gains, all the dividends are taxed. That's why it's called taxable account. But there's no limit to how much money you can put in it. If you want to put in $100,000 today, you can. If you want to put $10 today, you can. And that's the cool thing, is you can put money into this and you can grow it for the future. So max out that Roth IRA first, and then move on to taxable account and continue to invest for the future. Now, I've got 3 essential strategies to help you guys manage market volatility. First one is to automate your investments. Like I said before, you set up the accounts, you buy the ETF, and then you automate it. Allow it to have recurring investments into it every single month. May it be $100, maybe $1,000, maybe $200 every week, $200 every month. It doesn't matter. Automate it so you don't have to think about it. It's taken out, it's paying yourself first, and allowing that money to grow over time. Second strategy is to don't sell when the market is failing. Now, most people are gonna look at it and they say, oh man, my portfolio is down 10% year to date. What should I be doing? Should I be selling? Should I be selling? All my money is going kaput. Well, if you kind of zoom out, not look at the 1 month, 2 months, not look at the 1 year, but if you zoom out and see maybe 5, 10, 15 years, you can see the market is gradually going up. And that is great news. So when the market is selling and crashing, that just means everything's cheaper. Now, if I go to the restaurant and a burger is typically $5, and today it's now $4, I'm gonna want to buy that burger. It's on sale. I mean, right? That's the same thing for the stock market. When the stock market is going down, everything is on sale. And so it's an opportunity to buy when things are cheap. In 2022, the NASDAQ 100 was down about 30 to 33%. So QQQ or QQQM, whichever one you want to invest in, was down huge. So if you started buying it when it was down, the cool thing is in 2023, the market, the NASDAQ 100 was up 54%. So when you bought when it was down, all of a sudden your money went up. And so that's how the stock market works. So you buy it when on sale, and then when it goes up, that's great news. That means you made more money off of kind of the buys you were doing in the long run. So don't sell when the market crashes. Continue to buy for the future. And number 3 is do not time the market. Time in the market is better than timing the market. They say that if you miss the 10 best days in the last 10 to 20 years, you're gonna have half of the amount you could have had in your portfolio, because it's better to have your money working for you right now. Because if the market goes up 5% in one day and you missed it because you were just sitting in cash, you're gonna miss out on some of those huge gains that could happen in the future. So remember to do not time the market, stay in, buy for the long term. Look, investing is not a get rich quick scheme. It is a get rich slowly scheme. The best time to start investing was 20 years ago. But the second best time is today. Today is the day you can change your life for the future. You can start investing with a simple ETF like VOA. All you have to do is open a brokerage account, go to Vanguard, go to Fidelity, open up a brokerage account, start buying an ETF, and start automating it for the future. Today is the day you set up yourself for the 20-year version of you. You may be white-haired and white-bearded by then, but the decisions you have made today are the ones that are going to change your life for the future. So if I were to start investing in 2026, this is what I would do. I would open a brokerage account. I would start a Roth IRA. I would max it out as much as I could and then start investing into a taxable account. I would start with broad market ETF like a VOO, maybe VTI, SEHB. These are great ones. I would then start learning what I can, or just automate it and forget it and continue to earn money at my job and then continue to put as much money as I can for the future. The more you can start investing today, the better your future will be for tomorrow. So let me know, what is some ETFs you may be starting off with? Let me know any questions you have, because I know some people have some great questions and I would love to answer them. Comment below some of your favorite ETFs. Comment below if today is the first day you're starting to invest. All right, and I'll see you in our next video.